Hello again, and welcome back to Granny Dorothy Visits. Today's topic is, are your insecure thoughts short-circuiting your relationships? And the first reading, just a short one, from Louise Hay's Everyday Positive Thinking. And this quote is from Brian L. Weiss. In this world, you learn through relationships, not things. You can't take your things with you when you leave. And the second and only read I'm going to do for today is from this book called Slowing Down to the Speed of Light by Richard Carlson and Joseph Bailey. And it's called Being Present in Relationships. Joe recalls the first time he fell in love. It was as though time stopped. Everything seemed brighter, clearer, more alive. He didn't want the feelings to end. Joy, laughter, fun, excitement, closeness, a sense of being connected. Every instant seemed precious. When he and his girlfriend were together, he understood the meaning of timelessness. Soon after the relationship began, however, his habitual thoughts of insecurity began to return, creating a barrier to his intimacy. He began to focus on all of their differences and began to question if she was right for him. He wondered whether or not she felt about him the same way he did feel about her. Needless to say, that sort of thinking soon short-circuited the relationship. Does this sound familiar? In a way, when we are able to live in the moment, we will feel somewhat like we do falling in love. Living in the moment in relationships shows us our human potential for intimacy. Slowing down to the speed of life in relationships is the essence of ongoing intimacy and love. Slowing down to the moment, whether we have just fallen in love or are enjoying playing with a grandchild, draws out deeper feelings of love, patience, caring, unconditional acceptance, and kindness. When we are able to remain centered in the moment, in our relationship, we experience intimacy, joy, spontaneity, play, deep listening, effective communication, respect, compassion, empathy, kindness, openness, and gratitude. Slowing down to the moment means that we can experience the presence of another person without the contamination of our analytical mind, without agendas, expectations, preoccupation, resentments, guilt, jealousy, or other negative emotions. When we are operating from a state of effortless thinking, we are able to be touched by that person's presence in a way that seems to increase our understanding of who we are. We feel connected to each other by love. Our mind is not busy. We are not rushing off to be somewhere else or impatiently planning the next activity. Instead, we savor each moment. Our partner feels our compassion, patience, respect, acceptance, and interest. When Joe had first discovered these principles, he had been divorced for a few years and had experienced a series of relationships that fell into a common pattern: falling deeply in love, a honeymoon period, disillusionment, working hard on fixing the relationship, frustration, the end of the relationship. He truly wanted an intimate relationship and read everything he could about the subject. Until he understood the nature of his thinking, however, how his busy thoughts could take him away from his loving feelings, he didn't have a sense of how to allow a relationship to last, deepen, and grow. About the same time he discovered these principles, he met a lovely woman and has been happily married to her ever since. Like every couple, they have had their difficult times, but they have learned to understand how to weather those storms and allow their intimacy to grow. The secret for Joe and his wife has been to learn to recognize their thinking earlier and earlier as they get off track. The two of them have learned the value of being humble enough to admit when they have lost their bearings. As long as they have remained open to gaining a deeper level of understanding, they have been able to grow. Thought recognition has allowed them to see each other with more appreciation, tenderness, compassion, and love. They have learned to see their differences as interesting rather than threatening, and have learned to use those differences to help each other grow. What a wonderful thing to learn. Can you imagine if everybody in the world, if we all did that? If we were more patient and understanding and tolerant of each other? If we think before we speak, think before we react, and basically live in the moment and appreciate who we're talking with, who we're spending our time with, our child, our grandchild, our friend, our co-worker, whatever. It's very, very important that we always stop and think about, our relationship, and our attitudes in our mind is so important. To always have loving, kind thoughts. That's what I wish for you, is to have a loving, kind life and enjoy your life and enjoy your relationships, all of them. Also, I just wanted to say, if you like any of these readings that I'm doing, please consider subscribing to me or hitting the like button, or even sharing it if there's someone else that might be able to that if this would help anybody else. Okay, I send you my love. Until next Monday, bye for now.